All right, so I wanted to show you some side notes that you could take so that you can keep track of everything. Remember how I showed you that I was going to take each one of these centers all across, so like each one of these? Well, one of the things I did was I drew a dot, okay? One dot for each one that's here, okay? And I started off with whatever word that dot is directly on, okay? So here I have desire. Okay, same thing with freedom, love, and luxury. Desire, harmony, vulnerability, freedom, vulnerability, truth, luxury, truth, purity, love, purity, harmony. The reason why we write these down is so that you know whenever you're ready to come back here, the alchemy that you need to do to unlock more of your soul's wealth, okay? Because wealth is energy and energy is consciousness. So the more you get to know yourself, the more fulfilled you're going to feel with your soul purpose, because it's your soul purpose to experience this. This is your dharma in Buddhism, which is to feel fulfilled in your life. And this is what's going to unlock that fulfillment for you. So you don't need to work with these right now, but it is really important to write them down right now as we do this workshop. Because if you write them down and let's say like 2 or 3 months from now, you're like, hey, I really understand a lot about desire. I understand that, my next monetary move requires me to balance my family and my patience. Let me come really quick to my notes. Oh, here's the formula that I have to use to really unlock this secret in my reality, okay? It just makes it really easy. I made a second note here, just kind of like writing the centers. So like desire, harmony, and vulnerability, okay? What we always do when we're writing them down is you do the dot first, you go one back, and then one forward, okay? This is kind of like infinity's loop, showing you what is the present point in your infinity, okay? So this is another thing that I'm going to be showing you a little bit later, but if we were to draw the infinity sign and then we had a dot in there, okay, then that dot, this would be that center dot, and that would be the infinity that happens with it, okay? That's how it would work. So in order for you to have like the exact present moment of your soul, or some people would consider this a soul fragment. I don't believe in soul fragmentation. This is more so like aligning your consciousness with a desire that you have, or like a manifestation that you have. You're bringing infinity into this present moment. So you can see how there's like 4 different kinds of infinities that kind of cross over on each one of these levels if you were to copy this over and over and over, okay? So, but that's a little bit deeper later, how we're going to combine this, okay? So I wrote down the foundations too of the lines. So basically vulnerability and victory, okay, which is vulnerability and purity, vulnerability and purity, and then harmony and truth. And then here I just wrote down the centers again, which has to do purity and victory, family and knowledge, okay? So this is going to help me later on down the road. So for these final cheat sheet notes that you're going to write in, I just wrote these little icons so I can tell the difference, but I took each opposite. So the opposite of love was freedom. So I wrote love and freedom. The opposite of desire was luxury, desire and luxury. The opposite of harmony is truth. The opposite of vulnerability is purity. I wrote these down so that later, if I feel like I need to come back to this and recognize, okay, I need to work on these certain centers, or I'm trying to manifest something in particular in my life, this is what I need to be focusing on, right? You're going to be writing your same centers down the same way, this way. That way, like when you ask yourself, what is my true desire, right? What I really desire is luxury. What I really desire is endless prosperity, right? I'm void of love. Why am I void of love? Well, maybe do I feel free? I need more harmony in my life. How do I reach more harmony? Am I being truthful with myself? Okay, well, I have a problem with vulnerability. Like, what were to happen to me if I were to be opening up myself to vulnerability. I would feel purity, right? And you can use these keywords and meditate on them, and they keep giving you more and more insight into yourself. Remember, there is like this splitting of there's multiple infinities in here, right? That we're working with. There's 4 different infinities. There's the soul. There's the element of earth. There's these 8 aspects that we're understanding. So right now we're transcending deeper into our soul, and we're helping our soul become one with the present moment so it can manifest more clearly. Now this second portion right here, I took just each square, right? So I drew 2 squares because there's 2 squares overlaying with each other. And on the first square, I did harmony. I just followed the line, vulnerability, truth, purity. Harmony, vulnerability, truth, purity. That's the first pivotal point of my understanding of my reality. The second one was desire, freedom, luxury, and love. Okay, so if at any time I feel like I don't understand enough of this particular map, or maybe I come back to it later and I'm like, what have I been working with the most, or what lessons am I really going through right now? You can understand, okay, one of my most foundational points to my wealth is making sure that I balance harmony, vulnerability, truth, and purity all in one go. Okay, and you can sit down and meditate with each word, like, okay, I find harmony when I'm being vulnerable with my truth. And I feel like that brings me purity because it just has everything out in the air. With the second one, my desire is to be free and to have luxury, to do whatever I want. And that's what I truly feel is like the vibration to everything that life and love and nourishment is supposed to be about. These give you different secrets to your consciousness so that you can continue to come back here and work with yourself. There are a lot of different manifestation techniques out there, and a lot of like wealth and prosperity techniques that only focus particularly on love or just money, or, you know, it just tell you like, you know, just write down your intention. You need to get to know your intention. You need to get to know yourself. Once you get to know yourself, you can then start hacking reality, okay? You start creating more of these intelligent infinities, which really, really end up opening the door for a lot of different things that we're doing. And I kind of just want to draw these infinities here to kind of really show you what I see when we're talking here. And it's a little bit more sloppy than I anticipated, but at least you're starting to see how this opens up. Each one of the squares by themselves is like a parallel or a part of the Rubik's Cube. Then each one of these combinations is letting you know more and more and more about not only what your consciousness needs, but what your subconscious needs, what your unconscious needs, what your soul has always been trying to tell you that you need, right? A constant universal truth that exists within multiple realities if you're present with your happiness and you're aware that this is what's happening, right? So this is like a really, really profound hack that I've been tapping into. Play with it, and we're going to dive into the next lecture.